And welcome back to WGN-TV Political Report. State Representative Stephanie Kifowit is a Democrat from Aurora who served on active duty in the U.S. Marine Corps, currently the only female veteran in the Illinois General Assembly, where she serves as chair of Veterans Affairs. And Representative Kifowit joins me this morning. Representative, good to see you.
Good to see you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
You know, I wanted to start out, as we're in this sort of holiday period and all of that, I wanted to sort of look back at some of the things. We just celebrated, or we had, the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. I wouldn't call it a celebration, but let me ask you about that, because what you've been paying attention to is this sort of journey from adversaries, and to allies, the U.S., Japan. Talk a bit about that.
Well, it's so true, Paul. And there's a lot of feelings with World War II and Pearl Harbor and the bombing. And this last couple weeks ago, we normally in Aurora have a large luncheon. And I've gone every year, and our Pearl Harbor survivors have gone from 8 or 9 down to about 1. So what we're looking at is working with World War II veterans. And I've had the privilege of working with an individual named Ken Udstead, who was able to acquire a Rising Sun flag from a fallen Japanese soldier and wanted to return it to Japan and to the family members.
And did that. And so there is a level of forgiveness when you think about just the heartache that Pearl Harbor brought. This has been taking years for this kind of healing to happen.
It has. And it's really funny because going back to General MacArthur, he said in his joint statement to Congress that Japan is on the path and will never betray our trust again. And now we are 80 years from Pearl Harbor, and there has been a movement to return these items that are so important to the members. In fact, there's an American Legion in Idaho, which I'm an American Legion member, who had 5 flags that were signed, and the Rising Sun flags were pretty much a instrument of good luck to the fallen soldiers, and they initiated a return as well to Japan through an organization called the Obon Society, OBON Society.org, and they are working to bring these items back to the families. So
important. And my dad was a World War II vet, lost him last year, so we honor that generation. The Korean War veterans, they also got the short shrift coming home, but there was a reason for it. Talk about what you're trying to accomplish for them.
Well, the Korean War veterans are really under a category where the U.S. did not declare war. Our troops were sent under the UN resolution. The UN resolution to send war to Korea. So what we are looking for, we passed in the House and the Senate, Senate Joint Resolution 34, which would urge the Congress to authorize the President to present a Congressional Gold Medal to our Korean War veterans, because they deserve that recognition in a war that was, and actually, Paul, believe it or not, there was an armistice signed, but technically, South Korea and North Korea are still at war. There's never a peace treaty.
Right. Incredible. We also want to honor, as we look at the Vietnam War, we have a couple of living Medal of Honor recipients in this state, and you take great pride in that. We all do.
Yes, we do. We do. Currently living in Illinois are 2 Medal of Honor recipients, Medal of Honor recipient Lieutenant Colonel Hall Fritz and Medal of Honor recipient Alan Lynch, Sergeant Alan Lynch. And what we are doing in Senate Joint Resolution 28, because Illinois takes our veterans very seriously, and it's not a partisan issue. It's really everything we can come together with, and we are going to designate U.S. Highway 20 as Illinois Medal of Honor Highway. So when this finally passes in January, Illinois will join Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio to enact. They have already enacted legislation, and this is going to be a coast-to-coast Medal of Honor Highway.
So because it's going from Iowa, going through Indiana, is Illinois doing that, or do we need the assistance and cooperation of some other adjoining states?
Well, we do, and what it is all the states from coast to coast are joining together to name these honorary Medal of Honor highways, so that all 3,365 miles, and it starts in Oregon and it ends in help me there. Sorry, it ends in.
Well, I don't have the where it ends, but it goes
Boston,
a long way.
Massachusetts.
There you go.
Okay. It ends in Boston, Massachusetts, and so all 3,000 miles would be renamed in each of those states as Medal of Honor Highway.
Which is just, and I'm assuming our living Medal of Honor recipients, they know about this. They know this honor is going on.
They do. They do. They've had very big ceremonies, so we're going to plan a ceremony to honor them as we unveil Illinois Medal of Honor Highway US 20.
We have just a little bit time, so I want to bring up the Vietnam veterans because we have a moment for that, because healing has to go on there as well. And sort of, if you would sort of talk about sort of moving forward and the moment of catharsis that we have dealing with that moment as well.
Well, our Vietnam veterans are, in my opinion, one of the most profound generation of veterans. They have done so much, from the Welcome You Home initiatives to make sure that no veteran is forgotten, as unfortunately they experience when they come back home. And what we have been doing time and time again is honoring them. We honor them in the State House. I've personally had resolutions to honor them at the State House. But also, similar to World War II veterans that went to Iwo Jima for the 70th anniversary of Iwo Jima, our Vietnam veterans are also going back to Vietnam and also going back to areas of conflict, which they find healing and comforting, and to go forward. We should never forget the sacrifices our service members have made, but we also need to honor and recognize that going forward, there has to be some forgiveness and healing as well.
So important in all of these wars, reflecting back on them and watching this healing. And thank you for the work you do. Thank you for your service, because you have served in the military, only female veteran to serve in our legislature. And thank you so much for all the work you do.
Thank you, Paul. But also, my husband was in the Army, and my son is currently serving in the United States Navy.
What a family. One last break. We'll be back.
Thank you. Oh.